Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Wednesday, February 1st. February, the Valentine's month. This just makes me think about how I need to do a segment about prenups, Mark. That's how romantic I am.
Boy, what a buzzkill you are.
I am. I don't know. I'm very into making sure that people do the things they need to do before they have to. That's why. You know what I mean? I don't have a prenup, so I don't even have a postnup because I'm not married. So it's easy for me. If I had had a prenup, it probably would have helped me in the first one.
I often forget that you're not married. I just kind of, we just kind of think of you as being married.
Yeah, I know. Me too. But we're not physically with a piece of paper. But maybe that'll change. Not yet. You'll know, Mark. You and our community will be the first thousands and hundreds of thousands to know. So, hello, community. I hope everyone's doing well today. We love talking to you and answering your financial questions. If you've got one, go to our website, jillonmoney.com. When you are on the website, all you need to do is click the Contact Us button. Complete the form. It's so easy to do. And when you do that, you do the form. At the end, there's a little thing. Do you want to come on the air with us? And if you say yes, then we bring you on the air. Mark does everything else. So right now, we are talking to V, who's on the line from New Jersey. Hello, V. What can we do for you?
Hi, Jill and Mark. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
I had a question regarding the decumulation part of my retirement. I'm trying to see how I could plan it, if I could do it. And I'll give my details and you can tell me if I'm thinking it correctly or change it accordingly so that I can plan it that way.
Let me just say one thing, because V used a very fancy word, which I love you for already, called decumulation. And this is actually an incredibly important concept. We actually talk about it so much, but we don't call it the right name. But when you're saving your whole career and you're accumulating, decumulating, what V is calling about and talking about is, how do I get that money out? How do I start spending it? What is the right methodology? And this is really important. And it is rife with a lot of landmines because there's a lot of tax issues that happen during decumulation. So I'm very much into this topic. So V, what's going on? How old are you?
I'm 57, going on 58. My wife is 52. We both are working. I can give my details if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
So we bring home close to 300, maybe something less together. I think we have close to $1 million plus in our retirement, another $1 million in our non-retirement assets, which includes brokerage, savings, and others. And my question, I have two kids, both of them launched. I look at my year-end dividends and capital gains, and it comes to close to $70,000. And is it worth, once I reach 59 and a half, to start taking that out instead of reinvesting, take the money out, and that would be a stream, even though it is guaranteed, it's not guaranteed, but would that be a good way of thinking to take the money out from the age 59 and a half?
Well, why? You going to retire when you're 59 and a half?
No, I don't plan to retire, but you know how sometimes things could be difficult as you get older, and the workplace can be a little more challenging than it used to be. But I just wanted to make sure that it gives you a comfort level that could be a plan. And if I work, that's great. And if I continue to work, which is what I and my wife both want to do. But in case something happens and we're not able to, I know that plan will work.
Well, here's the problem. No, it's not actually the right. I mean, I get why people do that, but obviously dividend and capital gains are certainly far from guaranteed. It's close-ish, but here's the thing. I don't know if you're talking about in your non-qualified account. I think you are in your non-qualified, your non-retirement account. Is that where the 75 you're thinking would come from, or from both? Both. Okay. So, I mean, look, the money that comes out of a retirement is going to be taxed. I don't love that, if you don't have to. So if we were to just think about the non-qualified, and I'm presuming it's about half and half, and you said, well, I've got $1 million in non-qualified money. Is it fair to say that 32.5 of that which is my dividend and capital gains from that account, that I could kind of use that to live on. Yeah, it's close-ish, but it's not quite right. I think that it doesn't really account for inflation. So that's a problem. But, you hear me talk about this all the time when I say, well, if you have $1 million, it's already been taxed. Maybe you could have a withdrawal rate of about 3%. That's what that number really does come from: dividend, capital gains, and the appreciation in an account over time. That is not scientific either. But I would never think about that as like I wouldn't think about doing that any sooner than I had to. So I would be much, much more inclined to work backwards with you. So I'm going to ask you to work backwards with me for a second. Ideally, when would you like to really retire?
When I'm 65,
That's a long time from now.
I would love to work, but my concern is the industry I am in. I may not long.
You might not make it.
Right, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So you asked me how long I would love to work, and I said I love to work until I'm 75. I love my job, but
Yeah.
unfortunately things may not be exactly in my favor.
Okay. So what about your wife? Also a similar thing?
Yeah, I think my guess is once I drop, she will not continue working. She'll feel, okay, let's do the same thing together.
But she's
So,
5 years younger. She has to keep working. I'm only kidding. What if we can we look at 62 for a second, just as a guesstimate instead of 65? So we have you work for 5 more years. What do you really need to live on? What's your expense looking like?
I've been doing this calculation last year, around 8 grand per month.
Mm-hmm.
So that's including property taxes, everything. It comes to 8 grand for two of us.
Okay. You will both be entitled to Social Security, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you will both not have pensions, or will you have pensions?
Neither of us will have pensions.
Wrong answer. Okay. What's your house worth?
Around 450.
Mortgage?
I don't have any.
You have no mortgage. Going to stay in this house?
Yeah, until the kids so-called get married. So we want to have a house so they can come back with their spouses.
They don't want to come back to your house. Let's go to their house. Okay, I got it. But you would consider moving.
Yes, I would.
But the kids are mostly in your area. So in other words, would you be more likely to stay? You're going to stay in a high cost area, right?
Yes, ma'am. Want to be close to the kids so that we can hopefully help them out if they want us to.
I got you. Okay. How much are you guys both, you and your wife, maxing out your retirement accounts?
I try to maximize, but then the catch up we're trying to do from this year. Let's see how much we can do that.
You don't have to do that. It's totally fine. So you said you have income of 300 together, right? And so that puts you in the 24% tax bracket. And I know you live in a high tax state. I get it. I don't need you to put pre-tax money away anymore. I'm happy with you. You can put the money in your retirement account, put that, whatever else is left over, put in your non-qualified or your non-retirement assets. I would absolutely be in favor of that. So you don't have to make the catch-up contribution. I know you have no deductions, right? Because you paid off your mortgage. Now you do have high tax state, so you have state income taxes, but you're limited to 10 grand anyway. But I don't know. 24% is like a reasonable amount of tax to pay on your income. That's what I think I would do. I would be trying to beef up your non-qualified account. I think the way to really consider, like, okay, right now we've got $1 million in non-qualified. We've got $1 million in retirement. Well, you knock off a quarter of that $1 million of retirement because you have to pay tax on it, right? So it's not really $1 million. It's more like 750. So I've got $1.75 million, and there's nothing else that's floating around, right? You're not hiding an asset on me, are you?
No, ma'am.
So, could you generate 50 grand a year from that total? Yes, you can get 50 grand from that. Then you'll both get Social Security and you got your 8 grand a month and you're done. It'll be fine. It is important for you to build up your liquidity in a time if you're in an industry where you think, I'm a little old for the industry. Let me give you a great example of that, V, without asking you what you do. I, too, am 57 years old. I, too, am in an industry, not radio, but television, where it is not great to be old. it's not an industry that is like, yeah, we love old women on the air. So I have this similar anxiety that you have. Mark hears me get worried about it every single time. Oh, what if they don't renew me? What if they don't renew me? Because, you have to be smart. You have to look around and understand, you might be the greatest person in the world in your company, but you also have to be aware of like, what's the trend, right? So I feel the same way you do. So the way I look at it is, yes, I want to put money into my retirement account, but I flipped it last year. I am now starting to do exactly what I'm telling you to do, which is I'm putting less money away pre-tax and putting more and paying my tax that's due and putting that in non-retirement assets because I'm worried. Because I don't know how if only my book would take off and then I would never have to worry again. I'm just kidding. But, I think that when you understand that you're in a more vulnerable state, whenever you're feeling that way, gang, it is the argument for having money that's accessible to you. So that's how I would think about it. And don't look at it so much as dividend and capital gains because it is so variable. But it is a good way to think about it is like, well, a withdrawal rate of, 2.5% or 3%. That's what I could kind of count on. And don't forget when you're thinking about that, if it's pre-tax money to knock off the value of the retirement account, just as, again, back of the envelope planning. This is not a full-blown financial plan. This is just like, how do I think about it? And that I think is a reasonable way to think about it.
Makes sense.
Do you have your estate documents?
Yeah, I've created a will, and we try to keep it up to speed every year, review it.
Good. Any life insurance left over, anything like that?
Yes, we have a term life insurance for both of us, and I'm not sure. I wanted to ask you the question, do I really need it? Because
Well, I mean, if you were to drop dead, God forbid, your wife is 52, she'd get all the assets in a paid-for house. Do you really need it? I don't know. Like if you want to let her have a little more security for the next few years, sure, but I wouldn't pay a lot for it. How much is your insurance right now?
it's close to $1 million.
And when is it up? When is it term up?
I think I got it when I was 35, so another 3 years possibly.
It's probably inexpensive, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. So keep it for 3 years and then let it go. Then you're done. I think you're in good shape, V. Go out and party like a rock star, but keep working. And I guess the real message here is for you and for me, we're on the same page. We should kiss our bosses' asses because we really want to. We do. It's funny to be in a place where like, I really want to keep working as long as you'll have me, but you don't know. I get that. I really understand that. So I think you're being smart. I think that's a smart way to approach it.
May I say something else?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I want to thank you. I've been your listener for the last, if I could think, 7 to 8 years, if not more.
Wow.
Maybe even more. And I've been listening to you since it was a radio program. Then I started listening to it on YouTube. Then you became the podcast and then the daily podcast. And Mark, I just wanted to say, just because I'm older than you, I can tell you that you've grown so well in the last 5 to 6 years. I can sense the confidence that you show in the calls and the kind of information you provide. So keep up the good work.
Thank you, V.
Oh, look at that. Mark getting a shout out. You're getting a lot of love today, Mark. Don't cry. V, we wish you the very best of luck. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you've got nice things to say to Mark, he really would love to hear from you. I too would love to hear from you. Go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the contact us button. Let us know if you'd be willing to come on the air. Give Mark some props. For those of you who ordered the new book, just check out that acknowledgement and that dedication because this man allows me to live my life and conduct my life the way I want to live it. And it is because he is the greatest executive producer in the whole world. So how about that? That's the way we roll here. Thank you very much for listening. Everything's on the website, jillonmoney.com. Do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.